A breath of freedom and echoes from the past. 18 years in darkness and rebirth. Take a deep breath. Inhale the scent of freedom, the smell of freshly laid asphalt, the lush green leaves after the rain. These are familiar scents, yet they've been strangers for nearly 2 decades. Scents of a world not permeated by the mustiness, cigarette smoke, or dampness of prison walls. Today, I breathe fresh air. Air I once thought I'd never fully touch again. I also inhale the scent of the past, of 18 years imprisoned in darkness, in isolation, the scent of regrets and aspirations still clinging to every cell. All blend together, creating a chaotic symphony of emotions, simultaneously liberating and heavy. I walked out of the prison gates just 18 hours ago. 18 hours, a fleeting moment for an ordinary person. But for me, it stretched like a lifetime, a journey from darkness into light. Every passing minute has been a test, an awakening. And this is the first time in 18 years that I've spoken to myself. As a free man, unsupervised, unjudged, unlimited. I sit on an old stone bench in a deserted park, under an ancient tree, listening to the birds chirp, the rustle of leaves, the wind whistling through the branches like a gentle welcome from the outside world. The world I lost for far too long. I don't know who you are, or why you're listening to me now. Perhaps you're searching for an escape for a lost soul, forgiveness for mistakes, or simply a reminder that you can still choose your path. Whatever the reason, I believe an invisible thread, a shared empathy, has connected us in this moment. If my story can touch a hidden corner of your soul, spark a glimmer of hope or an awakening, then perhaps all those dark years weren't in vain. They were a costly lesson, a warning, a small lighthouse shining in the pitch-black night for lost souls. More than atonement, it is rebirth. Age 22, and the illusion of invincibility. When the world was within reach. When I was 22, I thought I was invincible. It was an age where youth surged like hot lava, ready to burn everything in its path. I strode through life with blind, arrogant confidence, believing the world was mine, and everything would happen my way. I felt like a god, able to control everything, overcome any obstacle with a snap of my fingers. That feeling was intoxicating, thrilling, but also so dangerous, for it made me forget the boundaries of self-control. I had everything, or at least I thought so. I had a girlfriend who always smiled, her eyes sparkling like stars whenever she looked at me, full of admiration and trust. Mai was the sunshine of my life, the motivation for me to dream of a bright future. A small house with a white picket fence, a lovely garden, and the laughter of children. We dreamed of trips, of evening dates under the dim streetlights, of holding hands tightly. Mai trusted me implicitly, and I thought that love was eternal. I also had a group of friends like brothers, whom I could trust absolutely, ready to share every joy, sorrow, and even secret. We spent long nights studying together, intense football matches, and wild drinking sessions. Once, Nam, my best friend, stood up for me in a high school fight, taking the blows for me. We vowed then to always stand by each other, and I had a job that paid enough to live, enough for me to take care of myself, to feel like a grown, independent man. I worked at a small electronics store. The job wasn't too hard, but enough for me to have a stable income. I started saving, dreaming of buying a small apartment, a new motorcycle to take Mai everywhere. Life seemed to be laying out a red carpet before me, full of promise. But what I lacked was patience. I hated feeling insulted, hated being looked down upon, hated my own weakness. I always wanted to prove myself, to be recognized, to stand above everyone, to be admired. My arrogance and oversized ego clouded my judgment, making me blind to trivial words and actions. I was easily angered, easily provoked. I was like a dormant volcano, but beneath the surface, magma seethed, just waiting for a tiny spark to erupt violently, consuming everything it touched, including myself. I didn't know how to control my emotions, how to take a step back and look at problems objectively. I only knew how to charge forward like a moth to a flame, regardless of the consequences. The fateful night and the price of lack of control. when the line blurred between right and wrong. That night, everything started like any other party. Lively laughter, clinking glasses, and endless chatter at our usual pub. I sat among my close friends, feeling life was beautiful. But then, a simple argument, sparked by a minor bump or an offhand remark, suddenly turned chaotic. I don't clearly remember who said what, or which action ignited it. I just knew the atmosphere suddenly grew thick, tense. Laughter and clinking glasses abruptly gave way to harsh words, challenging glares, eyes flashing fire. I vividly remember the angry look of the person opposite me, a look full of provocation and contempt, like a direct challenge to my already oversensitive pride. Blood rushed to my head. Every vein felt like it would burst. My ears rang. All I could hear was my heart pounding in my chest. My reason blurred, leaving only anger and a desperate desire for revenge, a craving to extinguish that scornful gaze. A knife was drawn. Its blade gleamed in the dim pub lights, cold like an ominous prophecy. I don't remember who pulled it out, or why it appeared. Everything happened too fast, too suddenly. Shouts, crashing sounds, and then, someone fell. A desperate, "Ah!" echoed, tearing through the quiet night. Blood flowed, staining the cold floor, dyeing a whole section red. Panicked, terrified screams, and everything seemed to stop. Time seemed to freeze as I was pulled into the police car. The police car door closed, heavy like the gates of hell slamming shut before my eyes. The dry click of the lock echoed, chilling, like a life sentence sealing my fate. I was still dazed, disoriented, unable to believe what was happening. My mind reeled with hundreds of questions. What happened? Where am I? Why me? When you're in your 20s, you think every door can always reopen. You believe you can fix every mistake, start over. But some doors, once closed, are forever. The prison door wasn't just a physical barrier. It was a door separating me from freedom, from the future, from everything I once cherished. It was an end to one chapter of life and the beginning of a new one, full of darkness, regret, profound remorse, and long days of isolation. 18 years in darkness and facing myself, an inner journey in a living hell. 18 years in prison was 18 years of facing myself. No social media, no phone, no one calling your name with affection. Everything became raw and frighteningly real. No virtual likes, no empty comments, just me. And the thoughts, the pain, the regrets repeating endlessly in my head, like a never-ending horror film. The four gray, cold walls became my only companions, witnessing every tear that fell, every sigh. Every morning, I woke at 5 a.m. The clang of the bell rang out, tearing through the night, pulling me from restless sleep. Work. Repetitive, mind-numbingly boring tasks, but enough to fill the time and keep me from sinking into negative thoughts. I once peeled tons of potatoes, sometimes until my fingers were calloused. I wove bamboo baskets. Each strand of bamboo cut my hands, but the physical pain was nothing compared to the pain in my soul. I swept prison corridors. Each stroke of the broom felt like sweeping away the grime from my own soul. Each task demanded patience, something I severely lacked when I was free. I learned patience painfully, eating simple, tasteless meals, just sustenance to survive, yet I ate, swallowing both bitterness and humiliation. Sleeping, restless sleep, full of nightmares and the struggle between reality and memory. Repeat, day after day, week after week, then year after year. Time passed so slowly that I felt like I was frozen. And in that loop, I began to remember. I remembered my mother's smile when I came home late but still had hot food waiting. A gentle smile, compassionate eyes, and the soft strokes of her hand on my hair when I leaned on her shoulder. Mom was always there for me, no matter where I went, what I did, what mistakes I made. She was the only one who never gave up on me. Now her image is more vivid than ever, like a slow-motion film, every frame, every detail clear in my mind. I remember the familiar scent of her hair, the smell of soapberry shampoo, the scent of boundless love. I remember the stories she told before bed, That smile now pierces my heart, because I know how much pain I caused her. I remembered the eyes of the girl I promised to marry when she visited the prison for the last time and never came back. It was a drizzly afternoon. Mai stood there, thinner, paler, but her eyes still tried to hold on to a glimmer of hope. I saw the torment in her eyes, the struggle between love and helplessness. She tried. She waited. We could only talk through thick glass. She told me about the difficulties, the gossip, the long nights she cried alone. I apologized, promised I would change. But then, the prison door was too big, too heavy for her to keep carrying. That last look now is a knife cutting into my heart, reminding me of a lost love, a future that no longer exists. I even remembered the sound of rain hitting the tin roof in my small rented room, where I once dreamed of a simple future. The rain tapped steadily, like a sad song, yet it brought me a strange sense of peace. In that small rented room, I had once envisioned so many beautiful scenes of a simple life, with a small house, a small family, and peaceful evenings with the one I loved. Now, the rain still echoes, but only the rain in my memory, the rain of a shattered dream, a future that is no more. Some nights I didn't sleep. I sat staring at the white, cold, inanimate wall. Yet it was my companion. The small cracks on the wall, the yellow stains, the crude drawings of previous inmates, all became as familiar as a part of my life. I looked at them, trying to find some meaning, and in my head, only one question echoed, incessantly, like a curse. If I could do it again, how would I live differently? That question burrowed deep into my mind, a dialogue with myself, a search for answers to past mistakes, to what was lost. I started writing, not for anyone to read, just for myself, to sort out the broken pieces of my soul. At first, I only wrote fragmented lines, laments, regrets. Then gradually, thoughts became clearer, lessons slowly formed. I began to write about the things I wanted to change, the things I wished I had done differently. Every word, every line was blood and tears, an awakening born from the depths of pain. 12 things I would do differently, vows from the heart, and a rebirth. I wrote down 12 things that if I could go back, I would do differently. I wrote them on a small piece of paper, with a worn pencil. Every word, every line was blood and tears, a distillation from 18 years of isolation and regret. They are not just hollow promises, but vows etched into my soul, guiding principles for my new life. I will not remain silent when I know I'm on the wrong path. Silence is not wisdom. It is cowardice, a lack of responsibility. I was silent when friends fell into vices. When I myself got lost in arrogance, I saw the warning signs but ignored them, telling myself I was strong enough. I was afraid of confrontation, afraid of rejection. But sometimes, we need another voice, a wake-up call from outside. I will learn to speak up, not just for myself, but for those I love who are walking down the wrong path I once took. I will not try to appear strong by hurting others. True strength does not lie in hurting someone, but in the ability to protect and love others, to spread kindness. I mistakenly thought aggression was a sign of strength, a way to make others fear me. I used harsh words to hide my own weakness. Now, I understand that the greatest strength is compassion, understanding, and the ability to turn pain into lessons. I will call my mother more often, even when there's nothing to say. A mother's love is unconditional, a silent sacrifice. I took it for granted, too busy with trivial pursuits to remember the woman who dedicated her life to me. Short calls, simple check-ins will never be too much, because every word is a brick-building love. I will cherish every moment with my mother, because time is finite. I will learn to breathe, literally. Breathe and listen to my heart. In our hurried lives, we often forget how to feel our bodies, how to listen to our inner voice. I lived a rushed life, constantly chasing illusions, forgetting to enjoy each present moment. In prison, I learned to breathe deeply, to calm myself, to connect with myself, to feel my own existence. I will apologize, sooner, more sincerely. An apology is not a sign of weakness. It is courage, an expression of a strong soul. I was too arrogant to apologize, too afraid to admit my mistakes. Now, I understand that a sincere apology has the power to heal all wounds, to open new doors for forgiveness. I will say, I love you, Mom, instead of just silently pouring tea. Actions can speak louder than words, but words also have their own power. They can touch the deepest emotions. I always thought that simply taking care of my mother was enough, but sometimes she just needed an emotional confession from the heart. I will no longer be shy, no longer hide my feelings. I will not wait for someone else to say I'm sorry first. Forgiveness is not waiting for others to apologize. Forgiveness is freeing yourself from the burden of resentment, from the chains of the past. I once harbored resentment, waiting for an apology from those who hurt me. But that only caused me more pain. Now I understand that I don't need forgiveness from others to forgive them. Forgiveness is not for others, but for yourself. I will learn to love without control. True love is freedom, trust, mutual respect. I once loved blindly, wanting to control every action of the person I loved. I turned love into a burden, an invisible rope tying us both down. Now, I understand that true love is respect, trust, and allowing others to be themselves. I will not waste simple afternoons with those I love. Happiness often lies in the smallest things, the most ordinary moments we often overlook. I once missed countless beautiful afternoons, countless meaningful conversations with my mother, with friends, just because I was busy chasing distant goals. Now, I understand that those moments are priceless. I will forgive my father, the one who never learned how to love his child. Pain from the past can hold us back. Forgiveness can free us, help us find peace in our souls. I once resented my father, resented his coldness. But now, I understand that my father was also a victim of circumstances, of past wounds. Forgiving him is not accepting what he did, but freeing myself from the burden of resentment. I will laugh more, cry more, live more truly. Emotions are a part of being human. Don't suppress them. I once hid my emotions, thinking that showing them was a sign of weakness. But that only made me feel more alone. Now, I understand that expressing emotions is a way to release, to connect with others, to live a more fulfilling life. I will laugh when happy, cry when sad, and live authentically. I will never take freedom for granted. Freedom is a priceless gift, a privilege not everyone has. I once took freedom for granted, wasted it on meaningless things. But 18 years in prison taught me a valuable lesson about the value of freedom. Freedom is not just the ability to move. It is the ability to choose, to live the way you want. I will cherish every moment of freedom and live a meaningful life. Each thing I wrote down is a piece of the person I should have become, if I hadn't let anger lead me astray. These are not just regrets, but commitments, reminders for the future. I'm not telling this story for your pity. I'm telling it so that if you're standing before a choice, between anger and forgiveness, between silence and speaking out, between staying and leaving, you will choose what's better for yourself, for your future, for your loved ones. Freedom doesn't come from an open door, but from a heart that knows how to let go. I once thought my life was over. The day I walked through the prison gates, I thought that was the end of everything. I sank deep into despair. But today, I sit here, no longer a prisoner of the past, but a free person, choosing to tell my own story, choosing to live a new life, a life full of light and hope. Freedom doesn't come from an open door, but from a heart that knows how to let go. Letting go of resentment, letting go of regret, letting go of the painful past, letting go of the burdens I placed on myself. Only when we can let go of these burdens can we truly be free. Freedom is a state of mind, not a physical condition. It is liberation from the constraints of the past, the ability to live fully in the present, the belief in the future. And if you are still free, live as if it were a priceless gift, a privilege. Don't waste it on meaningless things, fleeting pleasures, or unnecessary arguments. Don't let negative emotions hold you back. Don't let past mistakes define you. Don't let others' judgments deter you. Live a full, meaningful life, and never forget that every day is an opportunity for you to start over, to become a better version of yourself, to write a new story for your life. Take a deep breath and start now. A call to action for a new life. Dear friend, If you're listening to this podcast in a small room where everything seems to be in disarray, where you feel stuck and can't find a way out, close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Inhale peace. Exhale worries, burdens. Then ask yourself one question. If I could start over, I would. Don't be afraid of the answer. Be honest with yourself. Then don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for a miracle. Start right now. Right now, you can call your mother. Say, I love you. Right now, you can apologize to someone you've hurt. Right now, you can let go of resentment and forgive someone. Right now, you can start living a more full, meaningful life. This is the If I Could Start Over podcast, a part of a series of true stories from lives that have passed through the abyss, to remind us that no one is beyond starting over, if they still have the courage to begin. The path ahead may still be full of challenges, but as long as you have the will, the faith, and the courage, you will overcome. Thank you for listening. Live a life without regret, a life where every moment is a gift. Are you ready to start? Stand up and walk, right now. Dear friend, my journey has taught me a lesson that perhaps, without experiencing it, I would never fully understand. Life is a gift, and freedom is its breath. Every day is an opportunity for us to make amends, to love, to live every moment to the fullest. Don't let mistakes, fears, or prejudices hold you back. Be brave enough to face yourself, forgive what is past, and boldly walk your own path. My story is proof that no matter how deep you've fallen, the light of hope is always there, waiting for you to find it. And I believe you also have your own story, emotions to share, lessons to spread. If this story has touched your heart, if it has sparked a glimmer of hope or a different thought, don't hesitate to express your feelings. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other inspiring stories we'll bring. Your simple click is huge motivation for us to continue this journey. Please like this video to let us know that you listened, empathized, and found something meaningful. Every like is invaluable encouragement. Don't forget to share this video with those you think need it. Those who are lost, looking for a way out, or simply need a reminder that they are not alone. The power of a story multiplies when it is shared, and most importantly, please turn on notifications to be alerted about our latest videos as soon as we upload them. Don't miss any story that could change your life. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, if I could start over, so can you.